moving way too slow. Clickbait titles, they don't mean a thing. Tired of the spin, it's a one-note ring. The thumbnail's flashy, but the content flat. Same old song and dance, who needs that? Rinse and repeat like a broken record. Where's the realness? I'm feeling neglected. Come see the Rolling Toddies. Break the mold where the stories are real, where the truth is bold. No safety net here, just the wild and free. Like and subscribe, join the journey with me. Diving in deep with the facts on the screen. Liberal free thinking, if you know what I mean. Forget all the fluff, we're cutting the crap. Getting down to the nitty gritty, no time for a nap. I'm done with the chatter, need substance and spark. In a world full of echoes, be a shot in the dark. Come see the Rolling Toddies. Break the mold where the stories are real, where the truth is bold. No safety net here, just the wild and free. Like and subscribe, join the journey with me. Scroll through the moments, the laughter and tears. We conquer the silence, we face our fears. It's a reckless ride on this YouTube wave. Authentic connections, that's what we crave. So ditch the same old, let's bring the new. Real life stories waiting just for you. Unfiltered and raw, we're breaking the chain. Jump on the train, feel the passion and pain. Subscribe to the thrill, don't miss the chance. Rolling Toddies is where the real ones dance. Come see the Rolling Toddies. Break the mold where the stories are real, where the truth is bold. No safety net here, just the wild and free. Like and subscribe, join the journey with me. Now's the time to rise, to amplify the voice. In a sea of sameness, we've made the choice. So hit that button, let's spark the flame. Rolling Toddies is here, remember the name. No more masks or shadows, let's step into light. With stories that matter, we'll rise up and fight. Come see the Rolling Toddies.
Okay, hopefully I don't have any network issues. Another new frickin' system, but we'll get into that a little later. So, a couple weeks ago, you noticed or watched, or at least watched the replay of me working on this AA LEDs, so AA LEDs stick light, and as you know that I thoroughly ripped this thing apart and upgraded the batteries, upgraded the chargers. Thing is fantastic. So we'll go over to the Amazon listing for this thing and check it out. So we'll go over here to the Amazon listing here. this thing bigger. So here it is on Amazon. It's the Underhood work light, 2,000 lumen, 5,200 milliamp hour, rechargeable LED work light, blah, blah, blah. So 2,000 lumens. So under the specifications here, like it says 5,200 large capacity rechargeable battery. Only takes 4.5 hours to fully charge, and then it lasts 3.3 hours on high and 6+ hours on low mode. Okay, that's fair. That's acceptable. But I did, like I showed you, I completely rebuilt this thing. So instead of the 5,200 milliamp hour battery, I got 14,000 milliamp hour battery in here, and on top of that, put 2 chargers in here. This thing on high lasted a little over 8 hours. I was actually surprised myself. So you can imagine if this thing was on low, and yes, it still works. So you got high, medium, low. No, just high and low. If you could push and hold the button, you get that stupid strobe effect. So on high, over 8 hours. You can just imagine how long. It might last like 2 days on low. Incredible. I was surprised myself. Then it comes to the point of recharging it. So if you wanted to attempt that, number one, if you want to just charge it via USB, just put one charger board in it. So otherwise your charger will not even touch it, because it's going to draw over 6 amps of power between them 2 chargers. So your normal wall wart, even your high power ones, is not going to touch it at 5 volts. Not going to happen. You can put an auxiliary power supply and connect it up. I'll show you that a little later. But with the dual chargers running at the time, I only had a 5 amp power supply. It only took 3 hours to charge it. So I reduced it, increased the runtime, so pretty cool. So if you want to do the dual chargers, you'll have to get yourself a regular DC power supply, like I'm going to show here right now. So you would have to get something like this, a 10 amp 5 volt DC charger, and instead of using the USB-C connector, that charge board has provisions to solder whatever connector you want. So since this is your typical 5.5 by 2.1 barrel connector, just get yourself a female barrel connector and find a spot for it, and then you can charge that work light at 6 amps, which is amazing. So even at 6 amps, you might even, I was only to be able to do it at 4.5, because I was playing with the voltage. So if it went over a certain point, it just automatically drew the 6 amps, and my power supply went into over amperage protections and stuff like that. So it saved itself and stuff like that. But if you were to have a power supply that could actually do the 6 amps or more, and of course YouTube's complaining, bit rate's dropping. Come on, YouTube. This friggin' internet sucks. Anyway, we'll get on more on that later. But 6 amp charging, get a 10 amp power supply. You're not going to overload the power supply. It'll charge it, probably under 3 hours, and it'll be happy. So YouTube's complaining, even though I'm putting out 6,000 kilobits per second, so it's a YouTube problem. They suck. Anyway, so that's that on the stick light. over 8 hours of runtime. Probably, if you ran an 8-hour day, so you'd have it run all day. If you took breaks, shut it off, it'd probably be 9 hours, or it'll be your full 8-hour day. And doing the 6 amp charging with a regular wall wart under 3 hours. Probably would take about maybe 5 hours with the regular 3 amp charger to charge up. Don't know. Haven't tried it. I would have to unmodify that to try that. In other words, so that's at least one successful thing that I did. Of course, like I said, if you're going to do the dual charging, you're either going to have to get a power supply or just do the one charge board. But otherwise, well worth the effort of putting that in there. So that's that. In other news, of course, at the beginning of the month, I did that little product overview of the RGB G40 Christmas bulbs with its own little charge controllers. Not charge controller, but working controllers. The RGB Dream Color. I call it Dream Color. Blah blah blah. Stuff like that. I ordered because I was curious. I wanted to see if it worked, but it turned out to be a big disaster for the these guys. As you know, that I was interested in these things, and I bought 2 sets of these things. So the string lights that run off of solar power and stuff like that. Nice big solar panel. 2 drawbacks on this thing. It actually shows it right here. Freaking. So I got this thing in the mail from Amazon, and of course it comes, partially charged and stuff like that. So I fire it up, and I was extremely disappointed on the performance of this thing. Literally, the beginning of the string, the lights look exactly like this on the lamp on the right. And after the 15th bulb, or lamp, I should say, it basically dimmed out to like this lamp on the left. I mean, it was a huge disappointment when I got this thing. So I was like, well, maybe the battery inside that solar panel is not charged. So I hooked up the string to a DC power supply and gave it to 4.2 volts, a fully charged lithium battery. No change. And I was looking at the amp draw, and it was kind of high for what it is, but I was so disappointed in the inconsistency of the lighting. Bright on one side, dim on the other side. Guess what? I returned them. There is no way that something that's, 150 foot long for 110 foot long. 110 foot long, 50 LEDs. After the 15th LED bulb, it was dim. And there would be no way to compensate for that, no matter how much voltage you put into it. I mean, I tried bumping up the voltage just for shits and giggles with the DC power supply. I mean, it didn't make any difference. So, a classic symptom of low voltage plus the load of the lamps and the voltage drop along the entire string. Lame. So, they went back. I kind of had a feeling it was too good to be true to have that many lights on a little 4-volt system. Wasn't going to happen. So, I keep talking about DC power supplies. So, in order for me to charge that stick light, I did get some new benchtop power supplies to charge this thing. So, not only did I get one, I got 2 of these things to play around here, because I don't have any stuff like this. So I got two different models here because two is one and one is none. That's just that's just the way it is sometimes for certain people. So we'll go over to, of course, more stuff from Amazon. So these are the am I over on that tape? No. There we go. So here it is, the Amazon listing. So I got two, like I said, the two different flavors. I got the 30 volts at 10 amps and the 60 volts at 5 amps. So I charged that stick light with the 60 volt 5 amp version, and I would play with that voltage to get it just to get the maximum charge out of that little charge controller in that light. And you go up 1/10 of a volt, and it would literally just kick right out into overcurrent protection. So that's what I use to charge that stick light. So I says, you know what? Let me get the other bigger 10 amp supply. So I got both of them here. So I got the 0 to 60 volts at 5 amps. So that's this guy. And of course, it's got its own built-in USB-C connector for 20 watts. And the USB-C connector has, I think, PD power. And then I got the 0 to 30 volts at 10 amps. So I wish I had this one when I charged that stick light when it was fully dead. Then I would have got a better number on the charge time. Not that it matters to anybody, but I was just curious myself. And this thing's got a very nice display on it. I'm really, really happy to have these here. So my cord only goes so far. So, but here's what it looks like when it's all lit up. That's nice. I like that. That's a nice supply to have here. And of course, your typical connections, the banana plugs that you screw the knob off, and you can put fork terminals, stuff like that. So, of course, fully adjustable. It's got coarse adjustments, fine adjustments. Same thing for the amperage. Awesome power supplies, and they're quiet, and they're stable. Stable power. The voltage stays stable even under maximum load. How do I know? I tested it. Where I actually destroyed a electronic load playing with them. So, so stuff happens. It is what it is. So, let's see, what else? Speaking of DC loads, I bought another one of them things because I didn't completely ruin it. I only destroyed the USB-C connector because I was trying to get to see how many watts I can get out of them chubby cables, where I actually went over the 5 volt, not 5 volt, but 5 amp limit, and I cooked the USB connector on the electronic load. And I tried to fix it, but the damage was so bad. As soon as I took the connector off, it took the traces with it. So I bought another one. Of course, why not? Buy another one. Buy more shit. So I got this DC electronic load from watching another YouTube channel, Julian Eilert. So he's got one of these things, and these are it's an expandable DC electronic load, and it's pretty cool that you can expand this thing. So all of these, like that one electronic load that I got, it's 150 watts, depending on the voltage. Sometimes you can burn them out if you start going to higher voltage and jacking up the amperage. I did destroy like 2 of them over the years, playing around with it. Look at all the crap in this thing. And that's not even the expansion module. This is just the main unit of electronic loads. So we'll go over to the overhead and just show this thing off. I got to put it together and stuff like that. We'll probably do that in another stream, and then play with it and try to blow it up. So there's the unit itself. If you've seen these things, or you have one, you already know what it is. It's one of these 8 torches. Depending on if you take the label off, it could be something else. And that's that. So this is one of them fancy, nasty rubber band. It's just an electronic load, and it's expandable, and you got all kinds of options with this thing. So, and this thing does depending. Well, it's going to be like I said, 150 watts, depending on the voltage. So, anywhere from, I don't know the exact stopping point of the voltage. I don't think it says anywhere on it. It only says be careful of anything greater than 36 volts. But like I said in the past, I was playing around with these things and started going nuts with the voltage and blew the damn thing up. Not only blew it up, but let the smoke out of it, which was really exciting. Let's see if there's anything in here about how high voltage you can go up with these things. Because I don't remember. So these things, okay, it goes up to 200 volts. And the working current is up to 20 amps. So that is just for the main module. But you're going to be working, like I said, this thing is expandable, so I don't know if that is the exact limit, 20 amps or stuff like that, with the voltage and stuff like that, but I seen this on, like I said, Julian Eyelet's page there, YouTube channel. He's got one of these things. He's got I think 3 of them that are connected, and he goes completely nuts with it. So we got stuff for hooking up to the PC. So, and I think probably just PC only software. So I do have my little mini PC that maybe someday I'll play with it and hook it up to that, but not like that I would use it on a regular basis, because you get all the information on the onboard display. So I'm just putting this crap together so it doesn't get lost, because I have no intentions on putting it back in the bag. So I'm just going to put this stuff together. So this is the PC module that you connect, and then we got this guy for connecting various high amperage loads. So what's this thing say? Of course, everything is in Chinglish. So this is probably good for 20 amps. And of course, it's got diode protection. It's fuse protected, and here's the big I don't know if that's a diode or a MOSFET. Doesn't really say. Everything is in China. So DC in or DC out or blah, blah, blah. So all this stuff has to be bolted to the sides of the boards. So got to match it up to whatever. So there's probably a specific spot for this guy. Probably right there. I see 2 out of the 4 are right. So control, yeah. So that would be bolted there. And yes, it actually has bolts to connect that. So, you're dealing with some heavy duty current if you're actually using bolts and nuts. So here's the, of course, the power supply for it. Typical 12 volt 2 amps. To power the thing. Not that it would draw that much power, which I don't think it does. Probably can run it off of a modified, like my other one, USB-C with power delivery to negotiate 12 volts. Of course, they would do 2 amps, so that wouldn't be a problem for that particular thing. And of course, there's probably there's the provisions for that PC connector, so that's pretty cool. And of course, you get a little USB expansion, so that's goes to your PC, so that goes with that. So typical USB-A extension cord. So we'll keep all that together so it doesn't get lost. Or in this place, stack it on something on top of something else. And then the final bag here is the croc clips. And of course, we got a universal plug, so we don't need that kind, so that can be filed under T. Let's see what we got here for stuff. We got a qualified certificate, QC passed. I bet. And this is your typical USB connection point with barrel jack, USB mini, USB micro, and USB-C. So like I said, my other DC power supply, electronic load, I melted that sucker. So that is destroyed, but the other ports do work. So this little guy goes on this side, I know that much, and it's the easiest to connect. And this one is, this module is also fuse protected, diode protected. It's got a fan, it's got a buzzer, it's got some rotary encoders, it's got the I believe that would have been Wi-Fi, but it does have Bluetooth. So you can talk to your phone, talk to your tablet, stuff like that. So that's where this little guy is going to live. And of course, the other accessories have to be bolted on. But we'll do that, like I said, another time. So at least we got that connector, so that little bugger won't disappear. So this unit is good for, like I said, 150 watts. So now we're going to double it. So 300 watts. So my goal was to torture test them chubby cables to see if I could get 240 watts out of them. But I need to, of course, like I said, in that stream, you're going to have 42 volts or something like that. So that's why I got that 0 to 60 volt power supply, so that I could actually torture test chubby cables to see if you can actually get 240 watts out of it. So here is the expansion module that gets bolted on, and depending on which side you have this little doohickey bolted on, you're going to match up these guys, and of course they're going to be bolted together. So comes with its own hardware kit. So 300 watts at 200 volts, you're dealing with some heavy duty shit here. Heavy duty looks like resistors for the system. Of course, that you have to tell the system that it's got that module in it, so that it knows not to blow up the main module. So like I said, this is something for another day that we will play with. So I'm going to just file this under the B category, as in back in the box, until we come back with this later. So we took care of that stuff. Went over the power supplies and stuff like that. So in other news, of course, you see my little Paul Daniels awesome USB-C meter here, I actually had it fail. As in, it wouldn't talk to the computer anymore. So it was a bizarre issue. And I contacted Paul. I says, "Hey, Paul, I got one of your meters along with your ring light, and everything is awesome." I says, "All of a sudden, I got a problem." I says, "The damn thing won't talk to the computer. It says no port, check cable." So him and I, we went back and forth, and he told me to. He never seen a problem like that before, so he thought it was maybe a conflict with the USB ports and Bluetooth and shit like that. So shut all that off, and it still didn't work. It didn't matter what port I used on the streaming machine, which is what it's for, the streaming machine. You see it working. It's actually, I'm charging the streaming machine at the same time that I'm streaming. And you can see that the streaming machine is accepting 4.6 amps of power at 18.69 volts, so it's humping. So it's barely keeping pace with the streaming machine. It's actually it's in pause mode, and the percentage of the battery is still declining. So it ain't got enough ass. It needs more ass to charge it. The built-in charge. Probably if I turn the display brightness down, it would probably be a little bit more happy to catch up, because the screen uses a lot of power to charge. So him and I went back and forth and this and that, and he says, let's do some basic checks. Let's check the connector for the serial USB port, which is connected to a serial USB chip. So we did that. I did that under the microscope, took the USB mini off. Everything was perfect. Checked the chip. All the solder connections were perfect. Checked the other random bits here and there to see if there was anything conflicting or anything odd or burnt or missing or fell off or anything like that. Absolutely nothing. Found nothing. And reported back. And he's like, "This is a very bizarre failure." So just for shits and giggles, I plugged it back in, and I put my thermal camera on the board. And the serial USB chip was just roasting hot. And that's what failed. So the meter itself functioned perfectly with the display. No problems with that, even with the chip failure. So reported back to Paul, and I showed him the picture off the thermal camera, and he's like, "It looks like that chip failed. I've never seen anything fail like that." And he's like, "Bizarre." And he's like, "Well, if you can find a chip locally, go ahead and replace it. But if you can't find it locally, I'll send you a couple of chips in the mail." So I went on the Jungle site, and I found one of them little development boards that has that USB serial like converter, whatever you want to call it. I don't know exact term of that thing, but it makes the USB port and makes the whatever option that you got, make it look like it's on the serial port and stuff like that. Serial USB converter or whatever it is. So found one of them development boards with that chip on it, and I plucked the chip off. Took the chip off of this one, put the new chip in, and now I got my display back. So I reported back to Paul, and he says, "Hey, that's wonderful." And on top of that, he sent me $5 to compensate for the repair. So hats off to you, Paul L. Daniels. So, you know, if you want a USB meter like I got, of course, with the on-screen software, so everybody can see what you're doing with USB-C connectors and stuff like that, or cables, or torture testing them. Of course, I got plenty of other USB meters that you've seen in many other videos and stuff like that that I've monkeyed with. So These are sort of like kind of going into the retirement bin because that's really the only thing you need. Unless you get a smart one. And that was the other one of the things that I bought. So I seen this little guy. So this is the Finersi. This is the FNB 58. So this is another thing that I grabbed off of Amazon, and we'll go over there and check it out. So this thing does all the basic functions of a regular, volt, amp, meter and stuff like that. But this thing also does the data detection on the various chargers. So when you grab one of these chargers, you don't really know what is capable of doing it, because some are dumb and some have like half the features and some have a full featured. Like I got that Hyperjuice. It's the GAN 65 watt. It doesn't have the same PD protocols as the Anchor, whatever model that I got here, the 140 watt model, which is, I don't think it's even available anymore. So the Hyperjuice doesn't have all the charging detection stuff like that in it. So I was kind of curious to see what has what. So I did that, and I'm happy that I got it because, not that it matters to me as long as it's got, Apple protocol charging, it's got PD power charging, anything that will kick up, like the 140 watt is charging the laptop, 18 volts, 4.6 amps. So, it's doing its thing. But it's always nice to have a meter that can do that. And of course, it does all the power delivery. And of course, this thing can also go on the, you can also hook it up to a PC, but it's only PC only software. So if I run Parallels on this thing, I would be able to run that software, and you get all the display features of the whatever this thing is saying. So it's got a lot of features in it. It's pretty cool to have it. So it's like the one and all meters. If you need something that does all the charger detection and can trigger the PD power and stuff like that. So pretty cool to have. And stuff like that, which also led to me to getting another little toy from the Amazon site. And it's since I got all these cables, and some of them I would like to, sometimes you might need a cable to chop, and it's nice to chop a cable that doesn't have all the features in it, because you got cables for charging, you got cables for charging and data transfer, but you also got cables with the eMarker chip. And I do have some of them cables around here, and there's no identifier on the cable itself that you can decipher. So I got one of these little Tridix USB cable tester for, your regular PD detection, resistor and continuity check to see if you got a good cable or a bad cable. Sometimes with these cables, you work them hard, you bend them so many times they start breaking inside, where you'll start losing either the power side or the data side, and you can check the overall condition of the cable. So I was very kind of pleased to have this little meter around, because you never know. Every once in a while, I might have to go through and cut a cable to make it for power. So unfortunately, it did happen. And of course, when I was testing that electronic Chubby cables with the power supply and electronic load, I actually destroyed one end of one of my short power bank cables. So now that I destroyed it, I chopped the end off of it. Of course, there's nothing fancy in these guys. It's just power and regular data. But here is the actual power wires in this thing. Quite hefty. I mean, this has got to be at least 22 gauge. What's this say? Yeah, 22 gauge. So here is 22 gauge wire. And it's got to be 20. It's either 20 or 18 gauge wire. Well, actually, I should say that's wrong. It's probably 24 gauge wire. So this is 22 gauge, so this is probably about 24 gauge. So more than adequate to handle 5 amps. And of course, like I said, that's all you're going to get out of a USB-C connector is 5 amps. You know, otherwise you'll do what I did and melt the damn connector and then destroy something else. But like I said, I was very curious, and I didn't want to chop one of these, but I ended up chopping one anyway because I destroyed it. But hefty 24 gauge wires, more than adequate than to carry 5 amps. And the data wires, they're in there. They're half the size. Data wire is data wire. It doesn't draw any power. It doesn't draw any current. So it doesn't really matter what gauge it is. And then it's got a, I believe this is shielded. Yes, it is shielded. Cable is shielded and it has a support string in there. So more than, like I said, ample enough to handle and of course the screw comes off. These you can actually probably, I don't know why they just chose to do that. It's not a crimp-on, but it's actually, I discovered this by accident, that these things actually unscrew. So you can actually pull the housing off. So here's the housing. And then that's all it is. It's just a sealed wire. You know, they crimped it, they soldered it, put a weather packing on it. I don't know if it's weatherproof. Probably not. The connector's not, so it wouldn't be weatherproof. But that's kind of cool. And like I said, there's no e-marker chips in these particular cables that I got. So had to sacrifice. I accidentally sacrificed that cable to that. But to replace that, I did order that Curlicue one when Amazon was having their Prime Day deals. So a couple of bucks off of this kind of pricey cable. So this one lives with the meter. So I don't have a long cord to go with it. So that's that. So we'll probably return to torture testing live stream Chubby cables to see if we can actually get 240 watts at 42 volts with the new electronic load. We'll beat the crap out of that too. Beat the crap out of the cable. So we're going to be doing it direct. Not that it matters, because it's like I said, you're only going to get 5 amps out of a cord anyway. It doesn't matter if you got, what the voltage is. Your limit is 5 amps, stuff like that. So with that, we'll move on to our next subject, which is actually the very last one in the title of the live stream. Network issues. I continue having network issues, and it's the Wi-Fi. And it's driving me nuts, and it's actually very frustrating that I've gone through several different units to find one that sort of works, which is not really an answer you want to hear. But the OG, I don't know why Apple stopped, and it's an Apple thing. So I like Apple because you can just plug things in and it works. It doesn't give you fuss. It doesn't give you muss. It just, you plug it in and it's done. It works. It's a workhorse. But this was the OG in this household, the Apple Airport Extreme. It's got all your back probing, back spacing, back logging ports that you got, because preferred is wired anyway. But there's a lot of things that it's not, that's not going to be wired. Like little cameras, little security cameras, outdoor, indoor, outlets, lights. They're all wireless. That's just the way it is. You need to have a wireless device to operate and control these things. Same thing with the Amazon Echo, whatever you got. So this was the workhorse for, tens of years. Lasted a good long time. Problem with this still works. The only thing that works adequately enough is the 5 gigahertz side. The 2.4, for whatever reason, is half dead. So I says, thing's tens of years old. It's time to upgrade it. And I had a video on that of, it's newer. You join it with the newer stuff. Everything should be happy, hunky-dory. And for the most part, it was. So I've had several different models of these things, and I keep having the same issues where if you try to... So my first replacement of these things, it was this thing. So, 4 antennas. Some come with 6 antennas. Some come with 8 antennas. Some look like a friggin', I don't know what, a crown with all the antennas it's got. So I figured with more antennas, where you could space them out, I would have a little bit better connection, wireless connections with it. And for whatever reason, this thing sucks. So this is a TP-Link. This is the Archer AX55. One of them deals where it's easy enough to get it online. Actually, the first one, this is the second one that I bought. This is the first one would not connect. I couldn't configure it. It would not connect at all. I decided to have a meltdown. It probably bricked itself inside, and I had to get another one. So that was this thing. So once I got this thing hooked up, I figured, hey, this thing's going to be fantastic. It's going to be awesome and not have any wireless problems. And it turns out, no. It sucked worse than the Apple Airport Extreme, where all my indoor cameras, if you wanted to stream it, it would be choppy, laggy, or completely blank out, and that's completely unacceptable. I would go through all the menu settings, trying to change this, trying to change that. No, it just, no difference at all. So I said, well, that's new. These cameras in here, in this household, are new. It should be, everything should play nice. It don't. I don't know. I'm not a network type guy. There's probably some stupid setting in there that should be changed that would make everything work. I just don't know. But when you spend hours and hours tinkering and screwing around, you think you would stumble upon it? Nope. So what's the next option? Get another one. Get a different one. So then I got this thing. So this thing worked for a little while. It's actually, it was decent for what it is. It was perfect when I first installed this thing. As time went on, within weeks, I started having the same damn streaming issues. So it would come to the point where I had to reboot it. So I would reboot it. It would fix all the problems. Then it started again. And the duration would start getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter, where I was rebooting the damn thing, several times a day. Unacceptable. So I gave up on it. I says, I'm sick of rebooting this. It's got all the latest firmware in it. I went on the Googles, I went on the AIs, trying to problem solve it. It just doesn't work for indoor streaming for whatever reason. And on top of that, you would go through the troubleshooting, and everything is good. Everything's in the green. It's all nice and happy-dory, but the interior streaming sucks. Where I had no problems with the airport. None. I don't know. So, what do? I get another one. What the fuck? So I got this thing. So, TP-Link, Linksys, another TP-Link. So this is the Deco. So this is the BE10000. It's got the Wi-Fi 7. The other one, this one, the Pro 7. Same, 7 whatever bullshit that's in it. This is what's streaming right now. It's doing fine right now. I don't know how well the stream is doing because nobody's on it watching, which is disappointing. But that thing, it's sitting right there, right on top of my Amazon Echo. What a disaster to set this thing up. Oh my freaking God. A complete nightmare. I can't believe it. So, throughout all these new devices, I kept the same credentials, the network name, my password, exactly the same throughout all the models. Airport Extreme, when I first went over to that, up from the regular airport, kept the same credentials, right? Seamless transition between all the wireless stuff. You wouldn't even know that you replaced the node unless you actually, knew that or you did it yourself. Same thing with that black wireless module. Same credential, everything's seamless. You would never know that you did anything to it until you discovered that your interior cameras are not streaming very well. Same thing with that Velope Pro 7. Same credentials, boom, seamless. You would never know. Everything would just synced up. Awesome. I got this freaking thing. Only some of my items synced up seamlessly. The computers, smart TV. That was it. And phones and tablets. Synced up perfectly. Now comes all the freaking wireless lights, wireless outlets, the Amazon Echo, my weather station, my Nixie clock correction time modules, and my Olympia internet info globe. They would not sync. They would, same credentials. Throughout everything else, they just went online seamless. This, like I said, this effing thing, what a disaster. I don't know why. It's got to be something new. It's probably got so much new protocols in it that the old protocols are they probably threw them out and it doesn't work anymore. So, all my Amazon Echo, I had to repair it with the wireless network. Luckily, no, it did not. So, on this thing, I had to set up a regular normal network. I had to set up a network, same credentials with the underscore, capital I, lowercase o, and a capital T to get a lot of my stuff working again. I also had to set up a guest network for certain items. Absolutely ridiculous. So, the main wireless network, all the computers are on it, the smart TVs, that's all that's on it. Now, to set up all my smart lights, smart outlets, Amazon Echo, what else? I think that's about it. The underscore IoT connection, because it claims that it's a lower so-called security, even though when I was playing around, I dropped all that trying to get everything on one system. It would not work at all. I went with their old WPA. None of the smart items would connect. I don't know why. Something stupid that's in that won't connect. So, had to set up, like I said, the IoT branch. I might as well call it the branch. So, that branch has all these smart outlets and all the cameras. So, I had to reset all my outlets, all my cameras for that underscore IoT branch. Kind of annoying to have to do that, but when I did the Googles and the AI troubleshooting, it says if nothing else works, set that branch up and it should go. And it did. But it was annoying that I had to do all that. Next comes my clock syncs for my Nixies. It will not sync with the original branch, the OG branch. It will not sync with the underscore IoT branch. For whatever reason, it connected to the guest network. I don't know why. And I looked at all the credentials on the app, and nothing is special than anything else. I don't get it. It was frustrating. Now, I still got to deal with my internet info globe because it will not pair with the OG branch. I got to transfer all my Arduino files to the streaming computer to see if I can talk to the ESP module. I'm working on that because for whatever reason, this old girl doesn't want to talk to it anymore. I don't know why. It's annoying. So I'm in the process of that. Finally, the freaking weather station that is connected to Weather Underground. It took me literally 6 hours to get that sucker to link. I was so frustrated, I got a headache over it, trying to figure out all the troubleshooting and problem solving and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. It will not link up to that node. It's linked up to one of my Linksys outdoor antennas that's connected to that. 6 hours to figure that out. So all the different stuff that I did with that, it would not link. It finally linked with an outdoor camera furthest away from the weather station. I don't know. Technology, the Wi-Fi technology sucks. And on top of that, the streaming is on the fence. It's okay, but it's not perfect. I don't know why. It just sucks. But I can't go back to airport unless I change everything to with two networks with my OG credentials and the underscore IoT credentials to get everything if I wanted to go back to the OG. Very annoying. Networking sucks. I wish I could have everything wired, but like I said earlier, it can't be done. So, that is that. So, gone over a lot over. Now, for the final thing. Last December, or I should say last holiday, Christmas season, everybody was on the testing out the Vintaglow string lights. So at the time that everybody was doing their little videos, I says, maybe I should do one. But at the time, I wanted to get this boxes of lights. They were all sold out. So the only thing you could do back in, I think it was December, or maybe even earlier than that, is to sign up for the 2025 waiting list. Well, the waiting list has finally been processed and delivered. And I got my Vintaglow, now Marico. That's the company now, is Marico. So that is what the website is now titled, the Mariglow Vintaglow Lights. So I got 4 boxes, 2 colored and 2 clears. So let's check these out. Here they are. This is how they were boxed. Because I was like, I forgot all about these things. It's been months, and stuff like that. So, Marico of Sacramento, California. So, here they are in their glory. And like I said, the website was once upon a time Vintaglow, now changed Marico. So, Merry Christmas from your friends at Marico. So it says on the back, it's a greeting card. A Merry Christmas to you. It's like a postcard. Thank you for your patience. We hope Vintaglow brings the same joy it was made with. The Marico. On a Christmas mission to bring back the merry of the past, Marico brings the timeless charm of Christmas past to life with heirloom quality holiday decor crafted using technology of tomorrow for beautiful decor, warm lighting, and spectacular decorating ideas. Visit us at www.marico.com. So you got to watch, because sometimes some of these websites are co.co. So here they are. So they make them look like, kind of like, what's the other place called? I forgot already. Damn it. I'm going to have to go look it up. The other lights that I got. You know what I mean. I can't bring up the name because I forgot. Because I'm old and getting dementia. So, actually we're going to check out the lights here. So let's just check it out. So, now that it's on my mind, it's going to bug me until I figure out what it is. And I did several videos on them with the Sputnik type light ornaments and the snow or ice lights, the True Tone. So everybody was on the True Tone craze and the Vintaglow craze. Now Marico, but they still call it so they got Vintaclear. So Vintaclear and Yule Multi. So let's check out the Vintaclear. So this is a set of hundreds. Energy saver LED is entirely set, consumes only 5 watts. It's 33 foot long, I should say. No harsh colors, blah, blah, blah. So here's all the specifications. Ultra low flicker. So apparently, if I remember right, they are trying to get it to, all these companies are trying to get these things to flicker less. And it's for the few that are extremely sensitive to LED flicker, and they go completely anal over it and express all their feelings over and over and over and over again. We get it. We understand it. So, fade-proof, shatter-proof, perfectly soft white, ultra-low flicker, quality copper and brass construction. So, supposedly, it's supposed to be like old-school lights. So, 4-inch tail and a 6-inch wire lead. So, between the lamps, so typical LED construction. Of course, it doesn't have the awesome plastic packaging like the old school lights normally came in. So we got some spare parts. So I would imagine that there are spare LEDs. Yep. So spare fuses and a spare lamp. Wow, that's fantastic. So we got this little guy. So servicing safety care instructions. Really? World's first LED Christmas lights with glow-worm technology that imitates the warmth of traditional incandescent lights. So this tells you all in case you have to change a bulb or lamp. So typical lamp construction with the lamp lock, the little lever to keep little Johnny from plucking them out and sending the Christmas strings into darkness. So 100 watt string only draws 5 watts, but is overbuilt and UL rated at 10.8 watts. For safe operation, do not connect to more than a total of 216 watts or 1.8 amps of decorative lighting outfits end to end. If connecting only Ventaglow LED mini light sets, you can connect 20 100 count sets max. 2-year guarantee. That's interesting. Of course, who really knows? So, proper storage, this, that, and the other thing, blah, blah, blah. So to figure out how many lights you need to put on a given object, height times width divided by 6. So I'm old school, and I don't know if that formula is anywhere close to the old school, but I was always under the assumption of 100 lights per foot of tree. So if it's 7 foot, you put 700 lights on it. If it's 8 foot, you put 800. If it's 12 foot, you put 1,200 lights on your tree. So that is that. So my other outlet is connected to USB. So we're gonna hook up the watt meter. Woo! We'll see how many watts it draws. So wait for my meter to boot. So our current voltage is 119 volts at 60 hertz. So let's plug it in and see what it draws. So it draws 4.5 watts. Power factor is 0.89, and it's drawing 0.04 amps. Okay. Probably can't see it because of the lights. There we go. Turn them off. So the camera, web camera, is going to blow everything out because it's a web camera. If you didn't know any better, from a distance, it looks like a incandescent lamp. And I don't think, there's actually no flicker on camera, which is amazing. Because usually web cameras they got a god-awful frame rate, and they would pick up on a flicker. So, I can sort of detect the flicker of the cheaper models. And of course it has the pretty little tags on there, but not as cool as the other lights. The True Tones, where it gives you the actual brown paper decals or stickers and stuff like that. So, if you didn't know any better, if you were looking at these from a distance, you're like, hey, that's a nice set of incandescent lights. Until you got up close and clearly see that was LED because of the big old warts and the actual LED diode inside. So, kind of an interesting concept here, where they actually got a unplug that for a minute. Where the plastic, it looks like it's got a little bit of grunge on it. Kind of like a old set of incandescents. Kind of an interesting concept. And of course, if you look at, from the side, at a distance, yeah, it sort of looks like an incandescent with the filament. And then same thing if you look at it, dead on, like that. Yeah, it looks like an incandescent, but it's LED. But that's fine, and stuff like that, So just for fun, let's compare it with a good old school set of 100 incandescent lights. Yes, so you could still buy these effing things. So these are relatively new, but I'm too lazy to get the really old shit. But incandescent is incandescent, so it really doesn't freaking matter. So what year is these guys? $2017. So, like I said, incandescent is incandescent. It doesn't really matter. It's incandescent. So let's plug these guys in. Let's see if I pop a fuse, plugging these in and then. Oh my God! What a huge difference. Yeah. See, yeah. Wow. Wow. So, you probably can tell. Let me try to separate one. Incandescent on my right, LED on my left. Yeah, wow. So, like I was saying, from a distance, the LED looks like an incandescent, as in the little hot spot that you would normally see on an incandescent. The LED has that same little hot spot, but it's considerably dimmer. And then looking at it, and on the incandescent is way brighter. It's just punching through the pinch point where they pinch it off. And of course, you don't get the heat, the nice heat with LED. They're cold. But, it is what it is. But it did improve the power factor of the LEDs. So we'll unplug that. So there's your credentials for the LED. Not as bright. They could work on the brightness of these guys without overvolting them, but maybe not. I don't really know. Not that it matters, because you're looking at longevity with LED, where with the incandescent, you'll get 2-3 seasons before you have to start playing the bulb relamping game. So there's all your credentials for the incandescent. Draws 0.32, so substantially more amperage, and of course substantially more wattage. almost 38 watts per 100. So that's that. Nothing beats incandescent. My personal Christmas tree, as you all know, and you've seen it, it's still incandescent, just because that's the way it has to be. So that is that. So no visible flicker for my eyes, and no flicker upon the camera. But if you remember my little anti-flicker awesome device for a limited amount of LED strands, we can eliminate any and all flicker of all LED Christmas lights to a margin. So we'll plug in this guy. Oh, it don't like that. That's amazing. Look at that. It will not power up. It does not like DC current. That is amazing. It does not like DC power. You get that brief little blip, and that's all you get. These do not like DC power. And that's exactly what's coming out of this contraption is DC power, not AC power. So the rectifiers in here will not operate on DC power. That is interesting. Unlike the other lights that I got, that I demoed in the past, they will operate on DC power. I think these will light up on there too. Nope. But I did that in the past. Hook up DC power through this contraption on the True Tone bulbs, and they lit up right up. So I know that the concept does work. These Ventaglows, Maricos, do not like DC power. So that's very interesting. So you would either have to, of course, I think they say the refresh rate is like 120 hertz or something like that. So for those who are exceptionally anal sensitive, you would definitely still see 120 hertz refresh. Very interesting that they will not operate on DC power. It's got to be the rectifiers. So now that that is solved, I was hoping for 100% flicker-free Ventaglow Maricos, but that is not going to happen with them particular sets. So let's check out the Yule color. So they call these the Yule color, and these are the classic Christmas colors, depending on who you are. Of course, these are red, yellow, green, and blue. Some sets are red, orange, green, and blue. And some of them are red, orange, green, blue, purple, blue, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So let's check these out on these guys. Okay. The red looks good. A little dim for my preference. The yellow looks spot on. The green looks decent. A little dim though. And the blue looks decent but dim. And the interesting thing is there's like a band around this on the greens and blues and on the reds and yellows. There's like a band. I don't know if that is from lighting artifact or is there actual some kind of banding. I don't see any. It's got to be the effect of the LED shining. So it's kind of hard. I don't think the camera picks up on it. So same credentials, on the power, but I don't know if the camera picks up, but there's like a weird band right at where the LED is. And it's got to be an artifact of the optics of the LED. But there's like a weird band going around right where the filament would be. Very weird. But this is 2025 technology. Let's compare it with old school. Here's old school. Red, yellow, green, and blue. So this is old school. I believe this came off my old tree, my personal tree. So 2025. What year are you? And I know exactly what these are. These are Kodaks. If you remember Kodaks, as in the film company, they made their own, you know, rebranded lights. So I do remember that these are Kodaks. I'm looking for a date, because I know these are just about as old as your host. So no date on that one. How about this little tag? I'm going to say it looks like 1992. So 1992, which is still old, 2025. Let's compare the colors between old school Kodak, rebranded from something else, to 2025 Marico Vinteglow, and see our differences. Oh my God. So, we'll check out the reds. Now you got to remember that these things have been used a lot, so probably some of the color is faded, but yeah, big difference between lamps. So the red is not as bright as an incandescent. So the red on here is a little dark. It would probably be perfect if the LED was a little bit brighter. Oh, that one just died. Ah, that's sad. We seen it on camera. It died. Rest in peace, little light. So we'll go to the next one. So, yeah. Quite a bit of difference. So that's the red. Now I feel bad that little light burned out. Green. So let's check out the green. Of course, green by human eye is we're very sensitive to green. But on camera, yeah, wow, big difference. So I'm trying to line up that little hot spot with the hot spot in the LED. This weird band is bizarre on the LEDs. Yellow? Yellow's pretty close. Yellow's pretty close color-wise. It could be just a tick brighter, and it would be spot on. And then, of course, blue. Blue's a little dim, but not by much. If the LED blues were a little bit brighter and didn't have that weird, bizarre banding on it from the optics of the LED, probably be pretty close to incandescent. But nothing beats incandescent. But we watched a red one die on camera. So sad. So sad. So, nice little comparison between, give me my string line, LED and incandescent. Of course, you know, for the diehards, yeah, there's no comparison between the two. Should I try my? It probably won't work on his one either. There might be too many lamps. Or it could be just incompatible. Yeah, you just get that little blip. It's so weird. Okay, so that's that's that. Nothing. Nothing compares to the real thing, baby. Of good old school incandescent. Hell yeah. So that's that. So lots of crap that we went over today. Wow, that's why it was called live stream madness. Lots of crap. Lots of stuff happened. Lots of stuff coming in. Lots of stuff went out. Lots of stuff are in put in the side weeds because they suck. Stuff like that. So, if and when the occasion ever comes to be, I'll have a use for these someday. So, probably not a lot of change between 2024 model and 2025, other than the date that they were made. Is there a date that they were made on here? Yep. When were these made? Manufactured in China. I have no idea where I put that little magnifier, but I think it says 8 of 2025. So 8, 9, they're only 2 months old. So they were literally made and hauled over the seas by airplane or a boat. And now they are here, tested. And now they'll sit in a box for years, I guess. But like I said, so many people have had these, tested these through the last season's Christmas season, and pretty much said the same thing I did. They're cool, but they're nowhere. They still got a little ways to go. I can say that they have improved on the flicker technology, so they probably still got to work on that, but they got to still work on the get that right. They still got to work on that balance. They're not quite balanced on the colored ones. They're close, but they still got a little ways to go. I mean, if you didn't know any better between LED and incandescent, you'd probably say, hey, these look nice. And they do. But I just showed you between the two of them, so there's a huge difference between the two. They're nice. I mean, if I had an application for these, I would definitely use them. Just like when I bring that old girl down in a couple of weeks, and it's October 19th now, so this week, next week, so this week, next week, in 3 weeks, I will be putting my stuff up for the outdoor stuff. It's already that time. It came back fast. So we got that and that. So we had a lot of discussions and show-offs and stuff like that. So my final little thing I got to offer is, of course, running a YouTube channel. I finally got to ban my first troll. Oh my God, last Monday, I had this character with 3 subscribers going through my videos. And of course, my videos ain't the best. They might be a little niche. They might be stupid or dumb. I agree. Some of them are. Some of them are kind of cool. But once you leave comments of thumbs down, double thumbs down, and you're going video after video and doing that, you bet your ass I'm going to ban your ass. So you can't do that. And whatever comment that you left, I'm going to delete them. So that's the channel first for me. Banning of my first troll. So there. Especially a slime ball with 3 subscribers. You know, mom, dad, and his best friend. So that is that for the live stream. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next stream. Maybe next week. Till then, take care.
Are you tired of the same old game? Scrolling through the channels, it's always the same. Same old song, and the dance just repeats. Drowning in the noise, where's the real beat? When every click leads to a tired routine, boredom creeping in, if you know what I mean. Come on, join the revolution tonight. Rolling tide is rising, we're taking flight. Like and subscribe, break the chain. It's counting awaits, we're breaking the frame. Take a leap, take a ride, it's the time to align. Rolling tide, this is the future, come and see what you find. YouTube's a jungle filled with the same old sights, but there's a spark out there that ignites the nights. From sci-fi wonders to tales untold, adventures await for the brave and the bold. No more endless scrolling, it's time to escape with a click on the link. Let's break out of shape, come on, join the revolution tonight. Rolling tide is rising, we're taking flight. Like and subscribe, break the chain. This content awaits, we're breaking the frame. Take a leap, take a ride, it's the time to align. Rolling tide, this is the future, come and see what you find. Unplug from the matrix, let the colors unfold. In a world of routine, the stories grow. But here in our haven, creativity flows. With laughter, with passion, see how it glows. Every video crafted a piece of our heart. Dare to be different, be a part of the art. From the corridors of time to the realms of the mind, Rolling Tide captures what you're seeking to find. So many voices, so many dreams. It's a place wherein inside.